Hi, I'm 13 Disciple, and this is Coach's Corner. This is where I take replays from viewers and try and coach them on how to improve their play. So Sergeant Rob was kind enough to send me another replay here. He's playing in his T-54 Mod 1, and we are here on Glacier. So, I always start every match by looking at the tank list and breaking down the best macro position to take to impact the battle. So first things first, let's take a look at the team lineup. All right, they have a lot of light tanks, 2 scary artillery, pretty low amount of tank destroyers, a pretty low amount of medium tanks, and then a lot of heavies. Okay, so now let's make some guesses as to what we expect to happen in this match. So let's take a look at the mini map here. Okay, so let's try and break this down into a couple zones to try and make it a little easier to understand. So we've got this zone up here, we'll call that 1. That's where all the heavies tend to brawl. We have the carrier, we'll call that 2. And that's where you expect a lot of light tanks to play if they're quick enough. You can take this area later in the match in a medium or a heavy to help give you some pretty interesting lanes of fire up here. Okay, and then you got this big old mid-ridge in the middle. We'll call that 3. You have kind of this little alleyway between the two. We'll call that 4. And then you have kind of like this hill area up here in the south, right? We'll call that 5. And then we'll call these 2 areas kind of like your popular, I guess up here counts 2. We'll just call it tank destroyer areas, right? We'll call that 6. Okay, so given that information, where do we expect to make the biggest impact? So let me clear this list here. We'll go back into it. Okay, so you could try and go with the heavies this way. What'll end up happening is opposing tanks that are on this ridge will have side shots into you, so you have to make sure you make this run quickly. Otherwise, that will not go well for you. You can shoot up into the middle and play somewhere on this ridge line, which will give you some shots at light tanks going up into the carrier. You'll have shots on opposing hull down tanks, and you might get the occasional shot at crossing heavies, right? Okay, so that's not too bad. The next area you could probably go to, well, you could play a tank destroyer role, sit behind these bushes here, back up in here, or you can push the south area. Okay, so given that information, where would I go? So the place that I would probably pick is right here, and I picked this like probably 8 out of 10 times on this map. So the reason why this area is so strong, you have hard cover in the form of this rock right here, which can give you a little bit of safety from artillery fire. It'll give you cover from tank destroyers that are on this side of the map and mediums that might be going up here. And what this will give you in this match, there are a lot of light tanks. They have 4 of them. Almost a third of their team is light tanks. There is bound to be, I can almost guarantee it, at least 1 or 2 that's going to make this play, okay? And if you get up onto this ridge here and you just look for back shots into the light tanks, that's 1 to 3 shots of unreturned damage, which gives your team an advantage. It gives your light tanks an advantage. Alternatively, you'll have side shots on the heavies going this way. That can be tough because there's like this little dip right in this area, and your tank's not particularly tall. You don't have great gun depression, so you have to be careful trying to get shots on heavies because the tank destroyer that's sitting here will be exposed too, and he'll get shots on you. So I think this play right here gives you the most opportunity. You have light tanks, you have heavies, you have opposing mediums, you have this tank destroyer. The only thing that you don't really have an opportunity of is down here. And you can't keep playing here if you lose the south. You lose this south, you got a GTFO. You either got to come back here, you got to hug it over here, you got to fall back. You can't play the middle once you've lost the south. Otherwise, you'll be exposed to a crossfire from here. You won't be able to hide because if you push across, then you'll have TDs to contend with. So, given that information, let's get rolling here. So guys, if you're interested in having your replay featured and coached, head over to my Discord. I'll put the link in the description. There's a channel called Coach's Corner, so make sure you submit your replays there. I look for the most average replay that I can. That's what I recommend because it helps give me kind of a baseline of where you're coming from. So I see you were thinking about going with the heavies. You changed your mind. One thing I want to note is that you have fewer heavies than them. So actually getting damage on some of the heavies going in here will also help your team there. You got 4 light tanks headed in the middle. That was as expected. Looks like you might either try to play the south. Looks like that's where you're headed. Your Pantera went middle with the lights. That's good. His Clip Alpha is going to help with the lights. So we have an even 90 overwatching. The Lynx is going in. So you probably wouldn't have had shots on the Lynx. He's too quick. The Bulldog you probably could have had shots on. Or the even 90 over here. Could have had shots on this Samua that's crossing. I see you already trying to get into a position to get shots there. That's not too bad. IS-3 is in the open. Looks like your light tanks are actually going to win that brawl on the carrier, which will give you a good map position up there. You're spotted. So, since you're spotted here, where were you spotted from? There's nothing quick enough to get up here that fast. It had to have been the even 90 over here somewhere, I think. That's the only thing that would make sense to me. So now you're thinking of... So one thing I want to point out right here, I see the S1 is here. He's probably looking through these bushes. Poking on this side, you don't have soft cover. You do have hard cover you can back behind. You don't have soft cover. You might be better off poking through these bushes down here. And it looks like you just realized that. You have that Samua there. Pegging your P-54 Pantera. So the STRV might have had more damage on some of these guys if he had just stayed in base. There you go. That's what you want to see. Okay. Alright. Not too bad. I probably would have spent more time aiming that. And waited till the last possible second to take the fire. You got spotted, so what you can try and practice here is the bush ninja sniping, right? So what you do is you roll up to this bush. Well, first thing, you have to go into your settings. Go to graphics. Go to details. And down here, this is it. This is the one. Foliage transparency, you want this off. Don't have it checked. And I'll explain why here. So what you do is you roll up to this bush and it becomes transparent, okay? When that bush becomes transparent, what the game is communicating to you is that if you fire, it will not provide a camouflage bonus to you. So brush that is within 15 meters of your tank will not provide a camo bonus after firing. If it's beyond that point, it will maintain its camo bonus. So what you want to do is kind of get into these brush as close, I guess, as far away as you can until it becomes transparent. You spot what you're looking for, and then you back up until it becomes opaque, and then you take your shot. By doing that, you maintain the camo of the bush. And then you just keep doing that. You roll forward, get your spot, roll back, take your shot. Roll forward, spot them, roll back, take your shot. And that's how ninja sniping works in bushes. So that's a micro play suggestion there. Not too bad. If you had aimed a little lower, that might have gone through because it was angled up. It's still a riot shield. It's going to be hard to pen. I might have switched to APCR here. You might have wanted to stay a little bit longer in there because you're still spotted. It's like 9 to 10 seconds that you'll remain spotted. I see your STRV moving up. You could be getting shots on this Samua maybe. No, he's not poking too far over. But your Samua just did a lot of work on your team into the middle that you guys probably didn't need to take damage from. One thing I want to point out, look at all these heavies right here, right? There are so many heavies right here. If you had taken that position that I probably would have been at, you'd have had shots for days on these guys. And all these healthy tanks, when they finally get to this corner, they'll have a huge HP advantage there. And that's something that would contribute to a win, because you're doing damage without taking a whole lot in return. Or you're forcing them to turn towards you, in which case your heavies will have side shots on their heavies. The even 90 is going up after the LT. If you're in the middle, you would have had shots on that. Or he wouldn't have made that play because he knew that you'd have shots on him. See, now you're looking for it, but you're not in a position to take shots on him. So what we can see is there's not a whole lot that hasn't been lit now. There's one E4 that's not lit, and there's one Scorpion G that's not lit. I expect both Scorpion Gs to probably still be camping in base somewhere. With this T-34 3 out here, he's giving you a little bit of knowledge. So the other E4 might be working this ridge. He might be back in here somewhere. But otherwise, you know where most of the other tanks are on the map. So the ELC did take the carrier, and now he's going to be able to have some really awkward shots on your heavies. Yep, so that E4 was in the south. So I see you repositioning. It looks like your T-92 is going up to challenge the even 90. I would still probably be trying to play the middle ridge, because even at the middle ridge, you'd have shots on this E4 or this E4 down here. I see you hesitating. I think right now, what's happening in your mind is you're not sure what you should be doing. And let me assure you, probably playing the middle was the best call. Looking for shots on the E4, not a bad idea. So it looks like now you've decided to try and help the heavies. Not a great idea, and let me explain why. Not because they don't need it, they probably do. But TDs that can sit back here can shoot beyond spotting distance to your heavies. So basically what happens on this map, once you've won this side, you cannot push through safely. It's impossible. If they have tanks here, or these tank destroyers here, you'll be pushing into a crossfire, and you'll have to be pushing into tanks that can camo snipe you for almost the entire way across. You'll almost never make it safely. What I recommend is that if you take this area and you win it, don't push through. Fall back and wait, or fall back and come through here to the middle. Because if you come back, or maybe go through this little alleyway here and push across this way, it's so much safer, because if they try and snipe you through this gap, they get spotted and they fall back. Or you can at least counter shoot at them, as opposed to just driving up to somebody who's camo sniping you. You probably didn't need to take this far route here. I guess the Samoa is a little dangerous, but he's a one-shot. I probably would have taken a more direct path to make sure I got there sooner. Your Samoa is going up to the T-92. He's definitely one shot now. T-92 will probably finish him. Yeah, he's dead now. So what's really crazy is you guys own a lot of map control right now. The only thing that's preventing you from owning this map control right now is just being there. Someone being there. That's all it takes. Your T-34 3 lost to that E4. I did not see how much health he had left on him, though. Your heavies are getting obliterated, and I'm guessing it's because what I mentioned earlier. These tank destroyers in the back, and because they have more heavies than you do. Your heavies should be falling back and trying to draw them in. But you being here at this point in time is probably not horrible, because you could make the difference in this brawl. Between a 703 and an ISM is all that's left here. Getting your hit points in here and doing damage is a good call. Should have aimed a little higher on that one. That's just micro play. You took a hit for your team there. That's actually not a horrible thing to have happen. IS-3's dead. Good, good, good. You're going for the VK. You've loaded gold, which is good. You'll pen the cheeks. If you didn't want to load gold, you could pen the lower plate and the cupola without gold. Not totally necessary. I think so. Actually, the penetration on these rounds is not great. It's like 190, 185, 190, somewhere in there. I guess gold is going to guarantee that pen. You still have... Wow, this is crap armor. Okay, whatever. At least gold will guarantee the pen. What I really like here, this play that you're making here, I just wanted to point out real quick. This guy is a little more than a two-shot, whereas this guy has a lot more hit points. When it comes to fighting multiple tanks like this, you want to isolate and destroy as many guns as quickly as possible. you should definitely be focusing on the lowest health tank right now. If you had aimed to the left a little bit or been a little more patient, you knew he was on reload. So if you had just taken the time to aim, that would have been a shot of advantage there. You just saw it. I think you just fired there too for the 703. He's dead now. Okay, so you have a full health light and this low health VK against a one-shot ISM. Crossing into this open right here, you might take a hit from the LT. I would probably still cross and try and kill this 168 because keeping your ISM alive is important. Whether he has 94 health or 100 health or 1400 health, he does the same damage every shot. So try and keep a gun in the game as long as you can is a good idea. You're going to lose the south though. Your E4, this E4, this E4, this Scorpion, this STRV is not going to have the DPM to keep up with 3 tanks. He's going to do what he can, but I just don't see it happening. Although your T-92 looks like he's got shots on this VK. That VK won't last long. And their LT is shooting HE at you. I'd be loading AP right now because the LT has very little armor, but it's well angled. AP rounds have better normalization, so you actually probably have a slightly better chance of penning with AP in this instance. Because it's really highly angled, the AP will get better normalization. Although the additional pen on APCR, it's probably a wash. I will say you don't really need to be firing gold right now. Oh, this is bad. Look at this. Somewhere back on this ridge, somewhere back here is a scary Scorpion tank. I can almost guarantee it. Yeah, there you go. So you took out a tank, but you took damage that you didn't need to. Right now, you should be falling back. Your STRV is getting out. If he can get to these rocks here, you might still stand a chance at winning. I still think you can win. Don't push through. Because as you saw, that Scorpion G will say, no, you can't push through. That 7032 is probably going to take a big ol' hit of damage before he pushes any further. That would be my guess. Your ISM's trying to climb that. It doesn't work that way. You can dive off there, but you can't go up it. You should be looking for shots on the C4. Definitely. Holy baloney, I did not expect that Scorpion to be up that far. You need to push him out. Be up on top of that, throw some HE shells into his turret. So this is kind of a really dangerous scenario that we're in. So this Scorpion is in front of you. You know there's an E4 somewhere to your right, or at least 2 E4s, possibly a 7032. Yeah, it's a tough call because you want to defend your base, but you can't get in there safely. That was a good shot. Nice tracking damage. May not reload in time. You could definitely be firing AP right now. You don't need to be firing the... Okay, so the T-26... Okay, so now we know where their T-26 E4s are at. We know their Scorpion is at. We still don't know where the other 7032 is. So there is a play here you can make. The T-92 is giving us some spotting. We know it's unlikely that the 7032 is going to be on this ridge because this T-92 would probably be spotting him, right? So what I would do in this instance is I would push through, okay? By getting underneath, so let me zoom out here a little bit so I can draw a little better. Okay, so by getting underneath this ridge line, right? If you play right here, these guys over here won't have shots on you because of this rock, right? So you can actually control this engagement pretty easily because right now what you should be trying to do is get guns out of the game and 1v1 people. You don't want to be in a crossfire and you don't want to be in a 1v2. By getting up into this area, you'll extend the view range of the team up here a little bit. You might be able to get this guy as he comes in, and you'll be providing some knowledge for that T-92 who might also be supporting you. So what you want to do is push into here, because if you stay out here, not only will this guy have shots on you, but, well, I guess you're still 1v1ing, but you have less control over the engagement. We'll put it that way. You have less control over the engagement. Looking for shots on the E4. Okay, so you should be aiming here for this tracking wheel. You want to try and track him there because it's unlikely you'll kill him with your shot. Aiming out here, you might track him. If he backs up suddenly for being spotted, you're definitely not going to get any damage. Yeah. So here's another micro play. Aim here. You want to hit this tracking wheel or the side of his tank, anywhere. This could have been a shot of damage. Were you spotted? I don't think you were spotted there. APCR is still maybe not necessary, but helpful to get through the lower plate of the riot shield on the E4. The blind shot there was not a bad idea. If he was still tracked in the open, you might have done damage. He backed up because he realized he was shot. He didn't spot you, and he knew that crossing would probably get him killed, so he backed off. There's cap pressure now, so you know of these two tanks, at least one is here. That gives you a little bit of knowledge. Approaching is still a dangerous game because you're one shot for that Scorpion. Tree went down. Do you see that? That tree went down. That's the Scorpion on the left. So right now, I probably still would have gone up here, up into this area. You know this guy's here. You know this guy's here. And you know that Scorpion is over here. He might get you as you come through, but if you spot him, the T-92 might have a shot. The 703, the ISM, someone's going to have a shot on him. T-92 is going in. You probably should have done what the T-92 is doing right now. Looking for a shot. Yeah, that's a tough shot. I'm surprised you hit that. You see a 1 hit point? 6 hit, that's unlucky. You got really lucky right there. That Scorpion did not kill you, and now you know you need to kill him. That's a super important target. You're still out. There you go. You got him. Nice shot. Good work. I would push through. I would still be pushing through right now. Not bad taking blind shot. That's good. Would recommend. Keep doing that. The other E4 has backed off. No, we lost your ISM in the crossing. Who killed him? The artillery did. And there's another Scorpion behind you. What can you do here? There's not a whole lot, because if you try to push through, if you try to do this to try and isolate him, then these guys have shots. If you try to push this way, this guy will have shots. Well, through here. The best thing is to maybe try and push across while keeping this rock between you and that Scorpion. This is a tough ask to try and win at this point. It's extremely unlikely because of the... Not bad. The lower plate will pen because you're using APCR. And the lower plate's easier to pen on that tank anyways. So there you go. Unfortunately, you died there. If you had played forward earlier, you might have been able to survive. Yeah, if you had gone up here earlier, spotted that Scorpion, gotten him out of there, pushed up here, maybe into these rocks, had shots on the E4. Basically, if you extended this view range out here, maybe the T-92 would not have felt compelled to go into the middle. He probably started this crossing when there was cap pressure and there was nobody spotting. That might be why he did that. So if that T-92 had stayed back here, maybe that Scorpion G wouldn't have come up behind you. That's all speculation, but overall not too bad. I think there was a lot of things that we could have done better here. I will say this was 100% winnable, and I think you could have made the difference. If you had played this rock here, you would have helped against this Samua. You would have helped balance the hit points over here between the lights. You would have gotten damage on these crossing heavies, right? All that stuff. You might have gotten damage on this E4 over here. You might have taken a lot of arty damage. You might have taken a lot of tank destroyer damage. But that map position, that macroing position, probably would have, or could have, I guess we'll put it that way, it could have been the difference in winning or losing this game. Yeah, so that's just one of those macro decisions. You'll get better as you play more. But anyways, that's kind of how the flow of the battle went. You had okay micro and okay macro play. You actually didn't do too bad. 2188, 567. That's a reasonable game on any tier 8. So anyways, Rob, thanks so much for sending in this replay, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks.